Oh man. Oh man. Where do I even start? Fuck! This is gonna be a very, and I mean very self-indulgent episode, and I'm not even sorry for it. Do I like Monster Hunter? Nah. I fucking love Monster Hunter. Let's just cut the intro short and get this show on the road already. So what I'm gonna need you to do is sit your ass down, shut the hell up, and let me tell you about it. Monster Hunter World is the series' 5th generation game, and also its glorious return to console, after absolutely dominating the handheld market in Japan for over a decade. The jump from the 4th generation to this is as drastic as the first fish who grew lungs, walked on land and said to itself, "Damn, this shit really hit different." I've been playing the games since Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and I can say with utmost confidence that Monster Hunter World is my favorite so far in the series, and one of my personal tippy-top games of all time. Now, if you've never played Monster Hunter before, or if World is Babby's first Monster Hunter game, you need to know where I'm coming from so you can see where I'm going, and understand the main reasons why I love this game so goddamn fucking much. Alright kids, it's time to strap yourselves in and take a ride with me back to the 4th generation! Yeah, just the games right before this one. Hey, check it out! I'm gonna give you a rundown of how things used to work. So you start the quest. You run directly to the supply box, you grab a map, because it doesn't matter how many times you've been to a locale, the game will never display all areas for you unless you have a map. Then if you want, you can grab some freebies. Next up, you leave the camp area and start looking for the monster. If you're familiar with the locale and what you're hunting, you might have a general idea of where the monster could be. But if not, you're gonna have to run around all over the place checking each individual area until you find it, because I mean, why the fuck would your main objective be displayed on a map that's not even in your possession by default? Not to mention, the monster can get bored and start moving between areas, so if you take too long to find it, you would need to backtrack to places you've already checked. But hey, let's say you got all that shit out of the way and you successfully found the monster. Hell yeah! But it's still not displayed on the map. Did you bring any paintballs with you? Because if you don't have any, you can't mark the monster. Oh, and even when you do, the effect wears off after a while. If you're hunting a tough monster, it's possible to have a situation where the paintball wears off, you get your dick sneezed on, you end up back at camp, and now you have to find the monster all over again. Of course, I am going with one of the worst possible scenarios here. There's multiple ways to make the whole process simpler, and it does get much easier to find and keep track of the monsters when you're playing with other people. But that's definitely something that's happened to me a few times in 3 Ultimate, 4 Ultimate, and Generations. Wanna know something that's also fun? In higher difficulties like High Rank and G Rank, it's not guaranteed you'll start the quest at camp, and instead will be dropped in a random spot. Even better than that, if you manage to find your way back, the item box isn't gonna have any supplies other than the map until a set amount of time has passed or you've completed an optional objective. By the time you're taking on more advanced quests, if you're not rightly prepared from the start, you can find yourself figuratively and literally bare ass in the middle of winter. Even simple tasks like catching bugs and mining rocks weren't exactly a walk in the park either. There's 3 levels of bug nets and pickaxes, they all have a set durability, and they all break eventually. If you didn't have any in your inventory and you came across some rare shit, well, guess what, genius? You couldn't just pick it up and put it in your pocket, you'd just be playing out of luck. As far as monsters go, there's some you could hunt in single-player quests, but the majority of the content is going to be in multiplayer quests. And multiplayer quests are designed for 4 people, whether you have 4 people playing together or not. So if your friends aren't available or you don't have luck with online randos joining in to help you, you're gonna have to take on a monster with a large pool of health. A single quest on the higher difficulties can eat up a large chunk of your time, and depending on the weapons or armor that you're trying to craft and or upgrade, you're gonna need to go through that a bunch more times, especially when you're trying to get a material whose chance of dropping is as low as, and let me check my notes here, 2%. That brings me to the absolute best part, and by that I mean the part that inserts a recyclable paper straw up my ass and directly sucks the shit right out of it, which is the Blade Master and Gunner Split! Alright, get this. There's 11 close-range weapons and 3 long-range weapons. Sure does seem like a pretty even split, huh? Anyway, let's have every monster have 2 different armor sets depending on whether you want to physically hit it or shoot at it. Yeah, sure, why the fuck not, right? I love grinding for the same shit all over again. Anyway, why did I just go so far out of my way for a Monster Hunter history lesson? To what end did I just tell you all this? Okay, are you sitting down? Get ready. Monster Hunter World fixed all that shit. Yeah, just made everything about the Monster Hunter experience better. And god diddly damn do I appreciate such a huge quality of life improvement. Imagine being a troglodyte, spending your days drawing on cave walls and jacking off to dinosaur tits. You don't spend time thinking if it gets better because that's all you know. That's all you've ever known. Then one day your homie shows up and tells you about fire. Next thing you know, the whole block is living in mansions and downloading the latest Japanese adult visual novels on fiber internet. That's the kind of jump the Monster Hunter series did going into World. And I'm not saying you have to play older Monster Hunter games to fully appreciate World, but that's one of my own personal reasons for loving the absolute fuck out of it. Almost every single quest can be done alone or with other people. Tracking monsters and gathering resources is relatively simple, and the overall grind for monster parts was reduced with the addition of investigations, which net you extra rewards. Crafting weapons and armor is less of a chore and more manageable. The movement is much more fluid and dynamic, and it makes the older games feel like you're driving a forklift with your left ass cheek. The story is about coming to a new continent, and as such, the gameplay puts focus on discovery and exploration and rewards you for it. But more than that, it excels at making each locale feel alive and thriving. The wildlife reacts to you, and the monsters, when they're not actively trying to kill you, have their own routines and dispositions. Some will be passive and won't attack unless provoked, others will give you a warning roar to stay away, and others will see you and do their best at trying to split you open like a piñata so they can get all the nice treats that are inside. But it doesn't end there. Nature itself can lend a hand. You can use your surroundings to perform various types of attacking maneuvers, trap monsters, or deal damage to them. Animals living in each area can be a huge help too. You just have to look around and see what's there. Everything is alive. Even if you stop to do nothing, the world will keep on turning, with or without you. A key feature in the Monster Hunter series has always been the multiplayer aspect, but unlike most games that also carry that feature, you never fight other people, and the only kind of leaderboard you'll see will be in challenge quests, where you go in with predetermined gear and items and try to hunt a target in the fastest time you can. Monster Hunter's main focus is to work together towards a common goal and help each other. This was improved further in Monster Hunter World with the addition of the SOS flare, which, if you happen to be short on friends, you can shoot and allow for other people online to join you. Not only that, but the game displays custom banners at the end of each hunt that highlight individual feats accomplished by the players, such as who broke the most body parts on a monster, who provided the most heals or buffs, or who dealt the most damage. Playing together with other people online can be a great way to learn things about the game you weren't fully aware of. You can discover new strategies for specific situations or monsters, or you can just see what kind of stupid dumb shit people said as their custom messages. All of this is highlighted further if you're able to play with friends. And this, dear viewer, this is the part where my eyes start fucking glowing. It is in my most humble opinion that playing with friends is the best way to experience Monster Hunter World.
Oh shit, hurry! No, you gotta fucking
Jack
bend down. Yeah. Hurry. Fill up the fucking JO crystal. Charge the JO crystal. Yeah.
Jerk your dick off.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you rip the skin.
Oh.
Playing with online randos is one thing, but playing together with friends, talking over voice chat, and helping each other gather monster parts, rank up together, or just helping take down a specific monster that's been especially tough for someone is incomparable. The goddamn power of friendship is why I currently have over 1,500 hours playing this game since it came out. Well, that and also the... Most RPGs have an experience system set in place where, once you beat enough enemies, you gain a level and become stronger. Monster Hunter is an action RPG, but it doesn't have a conventional leveling system. You can kill as many monsters as you want, but you won't gain any additional stats or grow stronger. It all depends exclusively on the gear you're wearing. You start out by crafting basic weapons, then as you progress, you upgrade them or craft something stronger. Pretty much the same goes for the armor. As you steadily hunt monsters and make shoulder guards out of their livers and kidney stones, you might begin running out of quests to do. This is where your hunter rank comes in. Your hunter rank dictates the quests you're able to take on at the time. So as you complete your assigned quests, they start getting more difficult. Certain ones will act as a test of strength, which upon completion will increase your hunter rank. In turn, that will allow you to take on more quests with more monsters, which give you new parts for crafting, and well, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. It's the Great Monster Hunter cycle. Eventually, you're going to reach endgame, and I hope that by then or somewhere along the way, whether you got mostly there by yourself or with help from others, you realize that this is the path you literally carved for yourself. The armor you're wearing, the weapon you're holding, they're your power. It's a power that you fought against, overcame, and made into your own. It represents the trials you had to triumph over to get to where you are. And when you look at other players walking around, they went or are going through the same as you, but you can tell by their equipment that they reached their own individual outcomes. And you know what? I think that's cool as fuck! The level of customization this game offers and also displays is amazing. I really love seeing gathering halls filled with all kinds of hunters. Everyone has their own unique experiences and stories. Man, what a great game. Of course, nothing is perfect, so now let's talk about everything that's wrong with this fucking game. By the time you're about to reach endgame, you're clear to take on quests that feature tempered monsters. They have more health and hit harder than their regular counterparts. Despite not having any new materials you can carve, what sets them apart is their quest rewards. Tempered monsters come in 3 threat levels, and depending on that, the rewards can be random, possibly rare jewels you can put on your armor that further increase your skills, or streamstones, which come in their own separate varieties, but like jewels are randomized as well. Once you've unlocked the process, specific streamstones can be used to augment your gear. Depending on the kind, they can uncap individual pieces of your armor, allowing you to increase your defenses to a whole new level. For a weapon, you get to choose between increasing its base attack, its affinity, which is a fancy word the series likes to use for your critical hit rate, or add health regeneration, which will restore bits of your life as you land hits. The thing about all of this is that there's so many varieties of jewels, different tiers of streamstones, and on top of that, different types for those tiers, which you can only use on specific weapons and upgrades. Bottom line is, all that shit stacks against you, really bad, and it's tough fucking titties if there's a very specific weapon augment or jewel you're going after. Only thing you'll be able to get easy enough is the type of streamstone required to make your armor stronger because it's a pretty generic kind and not that much of a rare drop at all. Game companies these days aren't fully content with just selling you a game and calling it a day. They want interaction, they want you coming back to it, they're looking for engagement. That's why a bunch of games these days feature stuff like login bonuses, seasonal events, or content that changes every week or day. And you know what? That's fair enough. I feel like Monster Hunter World does it in a way that keeps things interesting and fresh. They've even added a few monsters through updates, and there are specific ones that only show up once in a while. That's cool, that's fine. But what's not okay is using these absolutely fucking abysmal and downright insulting item drop rates to keep the engagement going. After everything they've done right, it just feels very cheap. I have a bunch of friends who've also been playing for hundreds of hours, and they all feel the same way. It really just makes me look up directly at the sky and ask, why? Why would they do this? Why let players get so close to reaching their max potential but make the last few steps a huge game of chance? As I mentioned earlier in this video, there's no player versus player interaction. Arena and challenge quests equip you with their own sets and items, so whatever you're carrying doesn't even matter. So, Why not let advanced players have an easier time getting the stuff they need to max out their stats and abilities? When I finally get something that I need, it just feels like a relief, rather than winning the lottery, if that's even the feeling that they were going after. I have well over 1,000 hours playing this game, and thinking about this shit just makes me feel exhausted and my brain shuts down. I strongly believe anyone who's been playing so much as a tenth of what I have should not be having this kind of issue. So here's my hot take. This game has plenty of content happening year-round to keep players engaged and coming back, and extremely rare item drop rates should not be part of that at all. Oh, and speaking of content that happens year-round, let's talk about... Elder Dragons are pretty much the final bosses of Monster Hunter World. They come with their own unique abilities and powers. Arc-tempered Elder Dragons have those abilities and powers boosted to a new level. Like tempered monsters, they also get increased health and attack, except it's way more.
What you're seeing now is my normal state. This is a Super Saiyan. This is what is known as a Super Saiyan that has ascended past a Super Saiyan. And this is to go even further beyond!
And, well, even with fully augmented armor, they just feel pretty unfair and unbalanced. I started doing those quests with friends as they were coming out, but eventually they felt the Arc-Temperates were, how should I put this, bullshit, and refused to hunt them. I had to enlist the help of online randos to get my sets because Mama didn't raise no quitter, but goddamn was that another ordeal of its own. Monster Hunter World offers two encompassing difficulties, low rank and high rank. There's varying levels within those difficulties, and a great majority of the game's content is in high rank, but the lack of a third and series staple called G rank is missing, which kinda hurt the quality of the monsters in the long run. You do have to understand, Capcom was taking a huge risk going back to console, then putting a lot of resources into making the game look and feel amazing. So I completely get why the total number of monsters in this one took a hit compared to the portable games. Creating entirely new locales and ecosystems and bringing old and new monsters to HD is not a simple task. Still, at the end of the day, Arc-Tempered Elder Dragons just did not make up for that or the lack of G-Rank at all. They don't yield any new weapons, and for the most part, the armor sets you get from them, despite being really good in terms of skills, don't have higher defenses than their regular counterparts. This part is really more of a small complaint than anything else, but the weapon designs aren't anywhere near as creative and varied as they are in the older games. They feel very basic and even copy-pasty. Obviously, and despite everything, Monster Hunter World is still a great game. It's a fantastic game, and it's one of my favorite games, so I'm remaining very optimistic about these problems being fixed, or at the very least toned down to a small pain in the ass in the new Iceborne expansion that's right around the corner. It's also bringing back G-Rank, but changing its name to Master Rank because the developers thought it sounded cooler, and I fucking swear this is not a joke, that's 100% real, roll the clip.
So Master Rank is like G Rank? Why not just call it G Rank?
On top of that, they're adding a huge new map and a whole bunch of monsters new to the game. Now, you're gonna have to take my word for this one, but as much as I love the Monster Hunter series, I wouldn't be as excited as I am for Iceborne if it weren't for my overall enjoyment of Monster Hunter World, which greatly outweighs the few negatives it has. I mean, shit, if I ended up fucking hating World, I'd be on Switch playing Generations Ultimate instead, and I already told you how rough things are on it. So here's to another 1,000+ hours of playing Monster Hunter on PS4. Jesus fucking Christ, what the fuck am I saying? I'll never get to play any other games, dude.
Oh! They did it! I'm a real Monster Hunter!
Now, hopefully you were recording.
I was.
Good. Save that shit.
Iceborne, here I come!
Hey, thank you so much for watching what's been the longest thing I've ever written outside of school. I hope you enjoyed it! And if you think that I'm neat, you can leave a like and subscribe to me and follow me on these platforms, which I'm gonna link in the video description. Okay? Alright? Well, that's it, sport. You made it through the whole thing. I'm proud of you. Let's go get you a box of chicken nuggets, huh?